Hey guys, welcome back to DCS World. I'm Spudknocker, as always, and today we're going to take a look at a program that I found on the ED forums and through some Google searching that really helps up the immersion in DCS World for VR users and for flat monitor users. I would think that this would almost be required to get the best experience possible for a VR user. The program is called VoiceAttack with the plugin VIACOM 2.5 Pro. And it allows you to communicate with your wingman and the AI ATC and other things like Dark Star or Magic or other flights with your voice rather than with the clunky F key menu. Now for VR users, I'm sure that's super immersion breaking having to find the mouse or look through the nose hole to find your F keys. So I think that this would definitely help a lot of you guys if you haven't already found it. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. I figured we'd fly the F5 today because it's got a lot of voice commands to get her started up. Now a little disclaimer, the DCS World comms and the program are not 100% perfect, so I may have to repeat commands or DCS World may not be ready for certain commands that I give, and that is okay. I would still highly recommend it, even though it can be a little bit frustrating when you first start out. So we'll go ahead and get started with our first voice command. Chief, connect air supply.
Chief, connect ground air supply.
There we go.
Copy. Ground air supply is now connected.
ATC, request startup. ATC, request startup.
In field 1-1, request startup. In field 1-1, cleared for startup.
Close the canopy so it doesn't get too loud. Chief, apply air.
Chief, apply ground air supply. Copy. Air is now applied.
Alright, that's stabilized, so we'll go ahead and start the left engine. Alright, now we'll go ahead and crank the right engine. Chief, apply air.
Chief, apply ground air supply. Copy. Air is now applied.
So you may be hearing the little beeps after the voice commands, and those little beeps are letting us know that VoiceAttack and VIACOM have understood the command and are relaying that to DCS World. That's important because if you're not hearing that little beep after the command and your wingman or ATC are not doing anything, you know that you're saying the command wrong rather than the DCS World comms not working correctly, which certainly alleviates a lot of frustration. So we'll go ahead and select our takeoff trim. Chief, disconnect air supply.
Chief, disconnect ground air supply. Copy. Ground air supply is now disconnected.
Alright, now we'll ask the ATC for taxi. ATC, request taxi to runway.
In field 1-1, request taxi to runway.
Everything was good. Put oxygen.
Enfield 1-1, clear to taxi to runway 32.
Forgot which one was the oxygen on lever. Haven't flown the F5 in a while. Alright, so let's go ahead and taxi out. You'll notice here in the F5, I did not turn on the gun sight. The reason is we don't want to damage the gyros by jostling around on takeoff or on taxi to the runway. We'll turn it on though once we get airborne. So we're a couple of VFC 111 and VFC 13 pilots taking a break from our usual DACT and ACM flights to brush up on our air-to-ground gunnery, rocketry, and bombing skills. I chose the F5, like I said, because there are quite a few voice commands to get her started up, like I demonstrated, as well as a ground attack mission to help show you the different ways that we can use the VoiceAttack and the VIACOM Pro to access certain commands that you can't access through the regular comms menus in DCS World. ATC, request takeoff.
In field 1-1, request takeoff.
And for some reason, at Silver Bow here, the ATC never responds to takeoff requests.
Enfield 1-1, unable to clear for takeoff. Enfield 1-1, you are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 24.87.
Alrighty. Go ahead and extend our nose wheel strut. Alright. And we'll go ahead and punch it. Get a little back pressure, the nose up, let her fly off. Ooh, that was a little bit of a rough takeoff. We definitely have a bit of a heavy load for an F5. Loaded with 2 Lao 3 high explosive rocket pods, as well as 5 Mark 82s on the center line. Go ahead and flip this guy over to manual since we'll be using that for our air to ground. Pull it out of afterburner. Forgot to turn on the dampeners, that's why. always love the external views. I know there's purists that say don't use the external views, but the models of the jets are so pretty, you just gotta look at them. Flight. Radio check. Flight. Go finger 4.
Flight. Go finger 4. 2. Copy.
Alright, retrimmer out a bit. So we've got a few targets set up out on the range for us. Like I said in my disclaimer about this not being perfect, it's not perfect obviously, but I would still say that I would highly recommend it. It makes flying in DCS World feel a lot more real, rather than having to reach up and grab the keyboard or your mouse to talk to your wingman, as well as you can talk to your wingman a lot more faster and more efficiently. So if you have an issue or you need to issue an urgent order, it's a lot easier to do so. Alright, retrimmer out a bit. I really like flying the F5. It's certainly an aircraft that requires a lot of patience and a lot of concentration to really master. I've recently figured out the best way to get the best turn rate as possible on the jet. And that is simply just not yanking on the stick quite so hard, but really using just some fingertip pressure. So that snowdrift is going to help us guide us onto the target. It's probably not even a real snowdrift, it's probably a joint threat emitter that's been placed out on the range. Instead of having the CIA go out and steal a bunch of radars, the joint threat emitter simply just emits the correct signal to mimic Russian or Chinese or any radar really, even say a Hawk battery for Iranian type exercise. Flight. Close formation.
Flight. Close formation.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get ready to drop some bombs. I tend to always drop bombs a little bit long in the F5, so I put my depression a little farther down to help compensate for that.
4, on spike, 12 o'clock.
And like I said earlier, you can have your wingman attack targets and use different commands that are actually not accessible through the menu system. Like you can tell your wingman to attack certain targets with rockets or bombs, or you can tell them to attack a target from the northeast or the southwest or the west from a certain direction, which I think is really cool. So we'll definitely demonstrate that. Go ahead and turn our radar on. Quick scan around, everything looks good. So I'll demonstrate kind of giving a snap command here. Hopefully it works. 2, brake right.
Flight. Brake right.
So, just like that. Flight, rejoin.
Flight. Join up.
So you can see them breaking off to the right, and now they're going to come rejoin us. So pretty cool. I can definitely see this being really useful for cinematography purposes in DCS World, for anyone who's super creative or for a future video of mine potentially. So we're right here over the target zone, and we'll get ready to start engaging some targets. Boy, this is a one heavy F5. So let's get some altitude here. Flight. Engage utility vehicles.
Flight. Engage utility vehicles.
Oh, they haven't seen them yet. Where'd they go? There they are. Alright, let's have them go after air defenses. Flight. Engage air defenses.
Flight. Engage air defenses.
Four. Engage utility vehicles.
Contact. Target. Flight. Engage utility vehicles.
Some of the commands that you issue don't have the correct audio cues in DCS World to actually make it sound like they're doing the command you gave. But in actuality, if you watch your wingman and you track them closely, they are actually doing what you told them to do. The audio cues are just not there for it, unfortunately, which can definitely confuse me to start. But once I really observed my wingmen and what they were doing, I saw that was actually working. 4. Engage armor.
Flight. Engage armor.
Nope. 4 is already going after the utility vehicles. So we'll go ahead and drop a stick of bombs across these helicopters. Ooh, wow, that went pretty well. Nice shot. Definitely retrim after dropping off those bombs. We'll go after this little convoy over here. Looks like we took out 2 of those trucks. Two, engage utility vehicles with rockets.
Flight. Engage utility vehicles with rockets.
See? You can see there, you can certainly tell your flights to do different things than you can normally do with the comms menu, which is pretty darn cool. Ooh, that's a miss. Oh, maybe not.
4, running in. 2, running in.
Oh, looks like I got him. See, we see he engaged with rockets, even though he's still got bombs on board, which we know that the command worked because in the default mode, DCS World will always have its flights drop their bombs first. For good reason, obviously. They're freaking heavy. You don't want to be flying around with lots of bombs. But for the purposes of our demonstration here, it works real well. So we're worried a little bit about a midair there, so that's why I turned the labels back on. So we'll go after this radar. So one thing that's kind of strange, in my opinion, is Lao 3s are like sniper rifles. They're super accurate on the F5, but when I load them up on a AV-8B, they're like a shotgun. I can't hit anything with them. I don't know if that's because of the avionics. I'm trying to fire Lao 3s at too far of a range. I guess that could always be a possibility. So I guess I'll have to do some more testing on that. If anyone knows, sound off in the comments. Go after some of these rockets. Watch out for the midair. That was dangerous. Flight. Engage armor.
Flight. Engage armor.
Looks like my wingman's still got a couple bombs. So he's probably going to go after that T-55. Don't think I'll have many rockets left on this pass. Nope. We'll do one strafing pass and then we'll go ahead and fly on home. Okay, so we'll go ahead and fly back to Tonopah. Let's see if he takes out these. Wow, he's way the hell up there. Flight, join up.
Flight, join up.
It'd be pretty cool if he took that out. Oh, don't hit 4. Nah, I don't think that's enough. Alright guys, let's head home. Silver bow, select. You can also do more advanced voice commands, such as selecting an airfield for your ATC transmissions. That only works in easy communications mode, and I don't find it works all that often, but it's kind of a cool feature. This guy's forming up. Good. Yep. Slow down a bit for him. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of our draggy rocket pods here. Stay under the cloud deck. Flight, go finger 4. If they're already in finger 4, never mind. Tonopah, inbound. ATC, inbound.
Infield 1-1, inbound. Infield 1-1, flying heading 290, 49, QFE 24.87, runway 32, to pattern altitude.
Flight, go trail. We'll get them out of the way. Turn you off so we don't damage you. Flaps in auto. Got our dampeners on. Flight, RTB. Flight, radio check.
Flight. Roger.
Alright, now that we've got them woken back up, I think we can give them commands. Flight, return to base.
Flight, RTB. Copy. RTB.
out the drag chute. Alright guys, well that's a look at a program that I think is definitely a help when it comes to immersion in DCS World. And I hope that you guys take a look at the links that I put in the description below and check it out for yourself if you haven't already. I think it's a really great way to add a little bit more realism as well as work with the AI in a little bit better fashion than the clunky menu. So if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And as always, fly safe, guys. Thanks a lot.